Hey guys, it's Jet888 here. It's August 31st. Just checking here. I wasn't actually coming here to look at this, but I happened to see two planes. They were piggybacked on top of each other earlier, but these are CAL FIRE planes. They're right along the border there. Here's San Diego. Let's see, hang on. This is the CAL 72. That T-72 there. Interesting though, they're flying at 4,000 feet, so are they fighting a fire? Well, yeah, maybe, because there's hills there. And here's the T-76. Let's look. N4360F. So that belongs to Jeffrey White from Carlsbad, and he has requested not to allow his public tracking to take place. Okay, I'm going to back up here because it's not a 0, it's a D. So I'm going to go look at that. Sorry to that person. I couldn't see it until I blew this up. So N436DF. So that's registered to the USDA Forest Service. That's our plane. So their altitude is 9,200 feet. So there's the west coast. If you look to the left in the thing here, the little X there, that's the Coronado military base. And the line down below, that's the border, Mexico border. But do you see how they're flying so close? They're going towards Four Corners. And interesting, because if there's really a fire right down here, they're going awful long way. So I don't know really what they're doing. And they are flying at 6,600 feet. There's your 6.6. Where'd that go? And looks like they've been flying since, that can't be right, 1:16 a.m. unless there's some, if there's some huge fire here or something. I wonder if there's some food processing plant that either they want to crash into or they're trying to burn down. I don't know which. But let's go see if there's a fire reported near Potrero. So close to the border there. And there's the Ryder Ranch Airport. Yes, so border, 32 fires southeast of San Diego prompts, of course we've got evacuation. So as homes threatened by fires burning near Barrett Junction. Yes, so apparently they are going to do temporary evacuations as the fire continues to spread. And honestly, I don't know what they're really burning out there. So here is an article. It's 3 hours ago showing smoke. Is that one? That's a helicopter. Okay, so they say here that a blaze erupted for unknown reasons. There's a lot of unknown reasons lately, huh? So they're evacuating East San Diego, and within 2.5 hours, an estimated 1,400 acres burnt down a structure of undetermined type. So you're going to evacuate all these people for one structure put down? And this was updated just about a half an hour ago. So here's a California fire scanner. Kiwi tweeting info on California fires. Tweets not official and should not be treated as such. Is a volunteer. That was nice. And that's interesting because I didn't notice any of that. That's east of me and I didn't notice any of this in the sky today. Oh, look at that. From San Diego Gas and Electric cameras. And they're talking about the fire jumping the Highway 94. So this is interesting because this is January 25th, 2021, and this is, so January 25th, there's a fire in Potrero Hills in San Francisco. So that's not San Diego, that's way north, but it's still Potrero. And that's interesting here, this Camp Lockett event and equestrian facility at 799 Forest Gate Road, Campo, that's San Diego. I was actually looking up something today and kind of fooling with these numbers, this pyramid effect, this 799, because because I was looking at a fire that burnt down this meat market, this Texas meat market, and I was looking into that as well. And the 779 and all those 7s and 9s came up because the phone number, I took that phone number, added it up, and then reduced it, and I came to 759, and that is my name is Lord, and I'll tell you why I got to that. And the reason why this caught my eye, and I'll have to reverse engineer for you, but see the red truck? I looked up, where am I? I looked up red truck here, which is 482, and it is communism and delicious beer. And maybe I should just start in the very beginning because it's getting really confusing here, but I saw the word Fajita Friday, and I looked at that, and those numbers ended up being Mark Elliott Zuckerberg and Jesus Gospel and the COVID, that vaccine, which when you look at coronavirus, it's also carnivorous. And the reason why that kind of woke me up a little bit is just because I was looking at all these food industries and production places that are killing or culling all the chicken and eggs and meat and food plants. Look at all these. This is just number 36. But I've gotten here, I'm coming down to 101 because today, that August 23rd, well, not today, sorry, on the 23rd of August, there's a Texas meat market that burnt down as well, and it just adds to this list of over 100. So now that makes it at least 101 food places that have been burning down. Look at all this. So that was just part of an updated list of 95. Now we're at 101 minimum U.S. food manufacturing plants destroyed. And this update was as of June 14th. And I'll tell you what, going down here, it says, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA, there are currently no nationwide food shortages in the country. Not yet. So when you have these guys flying around, interesting, look what's flying right there right now. Only in the, what's that say? I don't know, but that's Tom Cruise's Top Gun Maverick plane flying right now. That's him right there, flying right over that fire, or what was supposedly reported as a fire, because now I don't see any fire activity. But that's, here's the registration of this plane, Top Gun, Tom Cruise, at November 259er Juliet X-ray. Right there. And here, that fire is still, that plane supposedly is still going. The USDA, who said, it was the USDA, well, that's the Forest Service, but USDA said there were no food shortages coming. So here's Tom Cruise's plane right here. There's the aircraft, Embraer. Airline XSJ Big Stripe. Interesting. So there it is on the ground. It looks like he's heading to Phoenix. Tom Cruise is doing a lot of flying back and forth. You know, our transportation is going to be cut down pretty soon. They're making it very difficult to fly, but he's obviously going to Phoenix Sky Harbor quite often. Wow, a lot of little back and forth trips. So just remember, when you guys are going to be told that you can't really travel 5 miles from your home, just remember what the elites are getting to do. So the XJS airline has, Tom Cruise has his own plane with his own name on it. And what's weird is all those planes that were supposedly flying, let's see if they're still there, for that fire, are no longer there. Huh. But cruises, CJSX, Tom Cruise, Top Gun, Maverick. Maybe they just used his name. I just find it interesting all of a sudden that all activity in the sky is just gone from that area when it was so busy with those other big, what they just suddenly put out the fire. Anyhow, well, let's go look at that food thing. Well, let me start with what I was looking at earlier today. Okay, so speaking of unknown causes, we've got this young woman, 32 years old, actress, and I don't know how to exactly pronounce her name. Is that Charlby? Dies on yesterday. She died at the age of 32 from an unexpected illness. I mean, does anyone really expect an illness? But an unexpected illness. And what's interesting is the editors at BurIey reported that she had died of an unexpected illness. No other details were available, and they didn't really know why this supposedly at 32 you think that you're healthy passed away. And that's her full name. And I'm looking up to the top there. What I looked at was she's in one of the movies, I guess, called Triangle of Sadness. So what I found kind of interesting, because the word sadness, the sudden adult death syndrome that's going on with people. For no reason, no one knows why these adults, these supposedly healthy, fit adults, are just suddenly dying. No one really asks the questions, but I looked at the word triangle of sadness in my, me with my anagrams, and I came up with a couple. So there's the Argenda infest souls, or Genesis Lord F Satan. And Genesis is C sign, when you look at that anagram, C sign Lord F Satan. Oh, and I just wanted to go back to her name that they use, is it Carly B or Charlie B? I don't know, Charlie Dean. But that's also Hinder Cabal. And here are the numbers, 173, and I just thought that was kind of interesting because it had the word King Kong, which, for me, when I look at King Kong, I think of the Empire State, which they're taking over. There's the 88 is the simple gematria, and also Christ. And again, I apologize if I offend anyone. I don't mean to offend people. I'm just looking kind of at the anagrams. But when I see Christ and I look at the anagram, and I'm looking at this because this is the numerical equivalent to her name, which is 77, and I don't know why my camera's not focusing. And I'm only looking at this as how they interpret. I'm trying to get into the heads of the psychopaths that rule this world. But when I look at Christ, it's CR shit. CR shit, like CR with one T. That's just because I think, they lie to us all the time, so I'm thinking they're lying about other things. I'm going to keep looking at her name, the numbers. So it's also sacrificed, which is 77, which is also equivalent to her. The numerical word, the value is sacrificed. So was she? I don't know. And also looking at her name, the anagram, Carl B. Dean, is children ba, like they're crying out, and the child Ra Bean. That's also, sorry I'm rambling now, but Kobe Bryant. It's Kobe Bean Bryant was his middle name, and Bean is also like cell as far as the gematria goes, but also Bean in simple gematria is also Bane. If you look at the anagram, Bane. And just like the other day in my, when I was looking at the technology and the water and all that, the Kalita videos I did just a couple days ago, they also were talking about the DC Comics kind of played into it. But Bane is a supervillain appearing in American comic books published by DC Comics, or you could look at the word comics as cosmic. Anyhow, let's see. What about him? Bane is usually depicted as a dangerous adversary of the superhero Batman and belongs to the collective of enemies that make up Batman's rogue galley, whatever. So, and those are the two people who created that. But the name Bane, and it's not just because he's a little comic hero, but I thought it was interesting because Bane is a cause of harm, ruin, or death, fatal injury, or ruin. So isn't that interesting how they use this comic book guy in DC Comics with the name Bane and a source of persistent annoyance or exasperation? Wow, that reminds me of DC right there. Oh yeah, and one of the movies that she starred in was the Triangles of Sadness. It's the anagram is also not rifles, SS agenda. So you know what Biden's doing with all of our tax money, where they're trying to take away our rifles. They're spending money for Ukraine to have lots of their guns so they can fight a war. So they're trying to take our rifles or guns away and giving them to someone else. So also when I looked at the DC Comics or Cosmic, DC Cosmic, I hit the thing on the Curlian photography also yesterday or a couple days ago, and you know we always see the stars and stuff like that, but Cosmic, ever relating to the regions of the universe distinct from Earth and infinitely or inconceivably extended or vast, just like all of our taxpayer dollars are going off to other places, remote, vast places. But the DC Comics, the anagrams there are for the gematria is Bible, Lord, people, and Stella. And remember a couple days ago when I was showing you that Aleister Crowley, he had a thing called Silver Star, and that was, the word for silver, it's Argente, Argente Stella is Silver Star, and he used that Aleister Crowley guy, the guy that's like a Satanist dude. And the Aleister Crowley, his anagram was, let me look, Elite's Royal Crew. Like some of these Hollywood people. But Chalbury Dean, her gematria, one being King Kong, and I don't know why, but YouTube deleted one of my videos that when I was talking about King Kong and Empire State, so it makes me feel like there's something about that. And also sacrificed biblical code and of light. And this is what I hope doesn't offend people, and if it does, I'm sorry, but this is how I see some things. Because I think these freaks, and I'm not looking specifically at him because he hasn't been around that long, but they code things and they do wordsmithing, and I know for a fact I've seen him specifically. They think they're poets. In fact, he belongs to a poet society and the Silver Chair Society, by the way, but his name also is equivalent to hers. That's her full name, Charlby Dean Crike. But when I just look at the Bible, I'm just showing you a few of the anagrams from the Bible. Here's Holy Bible and the anagram by biohell. What are we all in right now? Biohell. We're being sprayed and injected, poisoned. And they talk about the ever living, which if you've read the Bible, it seems like a very jealous God, which I wouldn't think that a real God would be jealous, but ever living, in my eyes, I see that as the anagram as evil reign V, as in 5. And when I look at that, the 5 is also ray of a light beam. Remember, I am the light. And it's also the all-seeing eye. So I think these creeps are the ones that rewrote and revamped the Holy Word. When you look at the word Genesis, it's C sign or is genes. And look what they're trying to mess with right now. They're messing with our genes. They're fooling with the RNA, the DNA. They're playing God. They're changing the frequencies. And when I looked at the Garden of Eden's anagrams, it's of endangered, which we're becoming right now because everyone's killing over from unknown causes, and feed androgen. And you know, androgen, it's is any unnatural or natural or synthetic steroid hormone that regulates the development and maintenance of male characteristics in vertebrates by binding the androgen receptors. Have we seen enough changing of the sexes lately? Don't you think that's kind of strange? And according to little Wikipedia here, Garden of Eden, the androgen, which is its feed androgen, was the anagram I got from Garden of Eden. And androgen, it says from the Greek andr, ander, I guess, it's the stem of the word meaning man. Isn't that kind of weird? So feed androgen, and the Greek man is ander, and what is that? Ander, and then we got the ogen. According to the medical dictionary, ogen, trademark for preparations of estropipate and estrone used in the treatment of estrogen deficiency. So you got the estrogen deficiency, usually women have estrogen, and you got the hormone ANDR, meaning man, and that androgen is the hormones that regulate the development of male characteristics. I just think it's kind of a weird thing. It's all about hormones. So feed androgen, feed, well, man, and women, if you look at estrogen, which they're not doing at all, because if you see all the things that are being destroyed, here's Maricopa Food Pantry, 48,000 pounds of food for 1,200 families is killed or destroyed. You have all these food plants being destroyed. There's over 101 of them. And interesting, most of these are fires that no one seems to have an idea of how this happens. All these, look at even Walmart contributed to it, and Nestle. But when you go through this list and you see all these, the poultry and all the, look at that, 5 million honeybees are dead after a flight carrying a pollinator. Insects from California, Alaska got diverted to Georgia. Why would that kill them? Anyhow, they're just killing everything. So going back to her, one of the movies that she starred in, that I mentioned, Triangles of Sadness, I looked at the Genesis Lord F. Satan, and I looked up the word F. Satan, because look at the other anagram is our agenda infest souls, or infests soul. So Genesis Lord F. Satan. And when I look at Lord F, look at, there's the 55 and 33. Lord F, well, it wasn't in their gematria, but I put it in there. It's soul and Satan. Isn't that kind of weird? So you've got the anagram that plays with both those words, soul and Satan. And when you look at F, Satan, or Lord F, it's both soul and Satan. And here's another anagram for that triangle of sadness. Genesis fond altars, or Genesis fond astral, as in stars. And look, an altar is a structure with an upper surface for the presentation of religious offerings or for sacrifices or for other ritualistic purposes. Huh. And isn't that kind of strange too, that her name is also with the gematria as a numerical equivalent to sacrificed, and biblical code, but to sacrificed? And when you look at the word astral, wasn't that interesting? They've got a new beer out called Soul. I guess they got rid of the Corona. Well, this goes back to May 13th, to 2013 here. So isn't that interesting? Soul, the international premium package lager from Mexico, is unveiling its vibrant new global identity in the UK. So I was looking at the most recent, August 23rd, from what I can see, the most recent, attack on food, markets or whatever, meat. Here's a picture of it on Texas Street there in 21st. So I just wanted to show you something. Maybe I'm totally wrong about this, but this news reporter guy, he's reporting in front of this truck, and look how the truck is, look how it's parked in front of that sign. But then I want to show you a video that's on Twitter of someone, this is like a dash cam obviously, but see the truck right there in all the smoke, if you can see it. I'm going to play it. And see how that truck is positioned there. Now hang on. So they obviously moved the truck in front of this sign to totally be placed so it looks like, I don't know, it's just more clear that it's right in front of the sign. We're going to go by it. Okay. Oh, here's another one. So the truck, well, maybe the truck, the person moved it right in front of the sign, who knows? But when you see this clearly in front of this sign, and then you see the word red truck, which is same as communism and delicious beer, I just think it's so weird. And looking at the sign, also looking at the phone number, let's see, which one was it that I looked at? Oh yeah, 779 is the same as serial murders. And also red truck being 600, and the business fire was the 600 block in North Texas Avenue. And the length of the time of their video was 559, which is Grand Master Plan and 3 stars. Like the triangle of sadness, 3 for triangle. I know, I'm totally reaching, but there's a Fajita Friday. Fajita Friday. Look at the numbers, 660 and 11. 660 and 11 is that COVID vaccine. And again, when you take their phone number, I'm going to jump up here. You take the phone number and you add it, and then you reduce it to 759. And the 759 is My Name is Lord. And when we look at the anagrams for Triangle of Sadness, Genesis, Lord F Satan, Lord F. And Lord F is soul or Satan. I just think that's weird. Okay, so there's some really weird things here. So she's 32 years old and just had some sudden illness, unexpected illness, so she died. They don't know really what from. And that number 55 there, it says on 4/13, that's April 13th, plane crashes into Gem State Processing, Idaho potato and food processing plant. And then here's a little picture of it, Gem State Processing. Is that the plane up there? So they've got this article here by Candace Hare, April 13th, 2022. Authorities are still investigating after the plane crash Wednesday in Hayburn, Idaho. There's your burn, your sacrifice. So county coroner has identified the pilot who died in Wednesday's plane crash. They say 30-year-old Chelsea Brittany Infanger of Salmon, Idaho, died in the crash. A cause of death has yet to be determined. They don't think that the death was caused by the crash, or was she incapacitated before the crash? Did something just suddenly make her like lose consciousness or something? So here at the very bottom it says the pilot and sole occupant of the plane died in the crash. Is that like died with COVID or of COVID? And it was a UPS freight plane. And this is really sad. This is her, the UPS pilot who died after a plane crashed into a potato plant near runway. Family demands airport. Hang on. Oh look, you can't reach the site for more information. But this is her airplane, Jim Air. And isn't that kind of weird? Jim Air. So let's go look. N928JP. So the UPS pilot flies a plane called Jim Air. So isn't that weird? The potato plant was what was crashed into Jim State Processing, and the plane we saw said Jim Air, even though she was working for UPS. So I don't get that. But look at this. It says that her family wants the airport shut down for good. The airport shut down. Now this is probably the start of having your transportation cut off. I'm just confused at why she's flying a plane that says Jim Air, and it was in a Jim processing food plant. So they look like they're blaming the steam of the potato processing plant from blocking, I guess, visual. Here's her flight. She went from Salt Lake City to BurLey, Idaho. The owner is Spirit Air Inc. This is her flight. I mean, she wasn't even, there's the runway right there. So she wasn't even, she's kind of off course. And they're blaming it on the potato plant. There's a date, April 13th. Landed over 4 months ago, more like it crashed, supposedly. And it's the 31st today of August. So here's Spirit Air, but it's not UPS, it's Spirit Air is the owner. Well, my one question for this family and the pilot is, did she have the jab? Because we're seeing a lot of pilots that are just clunking out, and a lot of athletes. No explanation. That kind of answers my questions right there, because if she's a teacher and she's still working, she got the jab because they require teachers to have the jab. And her Jim Air with the big G, Mecca, FEMA, Jim. Now look at this, what I'm reading here about this plane, this specific plane, about the Cessna Caravan. There's the numbers. See right there. Now let me read it. Michael Gower says, this aircraft crashed on 4/13/2022 in Hayburn, Idaho, while attempting to land at 8:32 local time in IMC conditions. I guess it's okay because it didn't look rainy or anything. The point of impact was more or less on the extended center line of runway 20, but some 700 meters short of the runway threshold. The accident destroyed the aircraft. It doesn't say anything about landing on the potato processing company. Was more or less on the extended center line of runway 20. Now the map they're showing us, here's the extended runway. That's BYI,